Today we're going on a wild ride through 23 car features that completely vanished. Some disappeared for safety, some for style, and a few, well, you'll wonder how anyone thought they were a good idea. One of these features was so risky, it's basically banned today. Another? It made your car feel like a rolling living room. And the last one? Trust me, you'll wish it came back. If you skip this video, you're missing one of the wildest chapters in car history. Buckle up, because we're starting at feature number 23, ashtrays and cigarette lighters. Almost every car once had one, sometimes two, built right into the dashboard or center console. And they weren't just for smokers. That little lighter was the original USB port, powering gadgets long before anyone had smartphones. Ashtrays? They doubled as coin holders, trash bins, or even secret storage for snacks. But as smoking declined and health regulations got stricter, these features slowly disappeared. Now, rare, and usually replaced with extra storage or charging ports. But back then, they gave cars personality, a small detail that said a lot about the driver. Feature number 22, hood ornaments. Shiny, proud, and sometimes ridiculous. Hood ornaments were everywhere. Some were the brand logo, others were elaborate sculptures. Think Rolls-Royce Spirit of Ecstasy or Cadillac's sleek crests. Luxury brands still keep them as a nod to elegance, but most disappeared because of safety rules. In a crash, or if someone stole them, they were a hazard. Spot one today, and it's like seeing a rolling piece of history. Feature number 21, fender-mounted mirrors. Before mirrors moved to doors, some cars had them on the fenders, way out near the wheels. It gave drivers a wider view and helped reduce blind spots. Popular in Japan and Europe during the 1960s and 70s, they faded as door-mounted mirrors became more practical. But if you see one today, it's classic old-school style. Feature number 20, headlight wipers. Tiny wipers just for your headlights. Cars like the Saab 99 and Mercedes W123 had them to clear dirt, rain, and snow. They were a high-end feature back in the 80s and 90s. But as headlights got covered and self-cleaning tech improved, these little wipers vanished. Today, headlight washers are the closest thing we have. Feature number 19, voice alert systems. In the 80s and 90s, some cars literally talked to you. Door is ajar, fuel low. It felt like a car straight out of a sci-fi movie. Chrysler New Yorkers and Nissan Maximas had them. Helpful? Absolutely. Creepy? Definitely. It's hard to imagine now, but for drivers back then, it was the ultimate futuristic gadget. Feature number 18, rear-facing third-row seats. Some wagons, like the Chevy 2 Nova and Plymouth Valiant, had extra rear-facing seats. Kids could wave at drivers behind them, make funny faces. It was like a ride within a ride. Safety rules eventually phased them out, but for those who remember, unforgettable road trips. Feature number 17, non-retracting seat belts. Before modern self-retracting seat belts, you had to manually pull the strap across and clip it in yourself. They twisted, got caught, or slid under seats. Messy? Sure, but part of the authentic driving experience. Feature number 16, floor-mounted high beam switch. Instead of flicking a switch, you stepped on it. That little metal pedal near the clutch controlled your high beams. Clunky? Maybe. Cool? Absolutely. It gave drivers a tactile connection to the car. Feature number 15, CD players. Pop in a disc, wait a few seconds, and boom. Music. CDs were the ultimate upgrade before streaming. Glove boxes full of discs, organized meticulously or thrown in chaos, scratches were the enemy. Kids today might not even understand how a CD worked, but back then, magic. Feature number 14, manual choke cable. Before fuel injection, the manual choke let you control the fuel mixture for cold starts. Too much choke? Engine stalled? Too little? Car wouldn't start? Hands-on, interactive, and completely gone today. Feature number 13, pop-up headlights. Coolest car feature of the 80s and 90s. Flip a switch, and headlights rise like robot eyes. Corvette, Mazda RX-7, even the DeLorean. Why they disappeared? Expensive motors, maintenance nightmares, and pedestrian safety laws. Last ones? 2004 Corvette and Lotus Esprit. Ever had one? Type yes in the comments. I'm jealous. Here's a lightly developed version of feature number 12. Manual window cranks, expanded just enough to add texture and nostalgia without slowing pacing. Feature number 12, manual window cranks. Before buttons and touchscreens, you rolled your windows down by hand. One twist, one click at a time. No motors, no sensors, no waiting. Manual window cranks were nearly indestructible. They didn't freeze in winter, didn't fail when a fuse blew, and they always worked, even when the car didn't want to. That's why some off-roaders and fleet vehicles still swear by them today. Sure, they weren't flashy, but they were honest, simple, durable, reliable. And in a world of screens and software, that kind of simplicity is hard to beat. Feature number 11, front bench seats. Imagine sliding into a car and finding a full couch across the front row. No center console, no cup holders, just one long padded bench stretching from door to door. Classic Chevys, Cadillacs, Buicks, and Oldsmobiles made this the norm through the 1950s, 60s, and even into the 70s. You could fit 3 adults up front, and yes, this is where the term 3 on the tree came from, with the shifter mounted on the steering column instead of the floor. Front bench seats turned driving into a social experience. Couples sat close. Kids rode between parents. Road trips felt like riding a living room sofa at 60 miles per hour. But comfort came with compromises. In hard turns, passengers slid around like loose cargo. And once airbags, center consoles, and modern safety standards arrived, the bench seat didn't stand a chance. Bucket seats offered better support, better control, and a safer place to mount airbags. Today, front bench seats are almost extinct, surviving mainly in pickup trucks and vintage restorations. See one now? That's not just a seat. Here's a fully developed drop-in expansion for feature number 10, cassette players. Match to your pacing and nostalgic tone. Feature number 10, cassette players. Before CDs, before MP3s, before streaming, we had cassette tapes. Small plastic rectangles that somehow carried your entire music world. This was the age of the mixtape. Carefully recorded songs straight off the radio, finger hovering over the record button, praying the DJ wouldn't talk over the intro. Making one took time, patience, and real effort, which is why they meant so much. But cassettes had attitude. They warped in the heat, got tangled in the player, and every driver knew the panic of hearing the music slow down. And when the tape got eaten, you weren't mad. You grabbed a pencil, rewound it, and kept going. Car cassette players ruled dashboards through the 70s, 80s, and 90s until CDs pushed them aside with cleaner sound and instant track skipping. Today, cassette players are gone. But the memories aren't, because no playlist will ever replace the feeling of hitting play on a tape you made just for that drive. Here's an expanded and engaging version of feature number 9, retractable antennas for your YouTube script. Feature number 9, retractable antennas. The classic retractable antenna, the skinny metal rod that magically popped up when you turned on the radio. Some were manual, so you had to pull them up yourself, while others were motorized, extending automatically when the stereo kicked in. At first glance, they seem simple, but these antennas were surprisingly high maintenance. Bend it too far, and your radio signal disappeared. Snow and ice could freeze them in place, and car washes? Forget about it. They could easily snap off. Despite these quirks, they were a huge part of the car's character. You knew your car had a fully working radio if that little rod extended correctly. There was even a sort of satisfaction in hearing the motor whir as the antenna came up or down, like the car was alive and preparing for its broadcast. So why did they vanish? Modern cars started using hidden antennas built into the windshield, rear window, or even shark fin designs on the roof. They're sleek, low maintenance, and survive snow, ice, and car washes, basically solving every problem the old retractable rods had. The last cars with these pop-up antennas mostly disappeared by the early 2000s. Today, spotting one is a real treat for car enthusiasts and a nostalgic reminder of a time when even your radio had a little bit of drama. Here's a light, clean expansion of feature number 8, carburetors that adds depth without turning it into a technical lecture. Feature number 8, carburetors. Before computers ran engines, carburetors did all the thinking. Purely mechanical, they mixed fuel and air using springs, jets, and vacuum. No sensors, no software. They were simple, but far from perfect. Cold starts were tricky, altitude changes confused them, and when they went out of tune, you felt it. Rough idles, hesitation, and terrible fuel economy. Still, carburetors had personality. You could tweak them with a screwdriver, hear the engine respond, and fix problems right in your driveway. By the 1980s and 90s, electronic fuel injection took over, delivering better efficiency, cleaner emissions, and easier starts in any condition. Carburetors may be gone from modern cars, but for gearheads, they're still a symbol of when engines were mechanical, raw, and personal. Absolutely. Here are clean, developed-a-bit versions of features number 7 through number 1, expanded just enough to add flavor, clarity, and nostalgia without bloating runtime. These will drop straight into your script. Feature number 7, T-tops. 2 removable roof panels, one over the driver, one over the passenger, leaving a solid bar down the middle. T-tops were the perfect middle ground between a hardtop and a convertible. They became icons on cars like the Pontiac Trans Am, Camaro, and Nissan 300ZX, delivering open-air vibes without sacrificing too much structure. But reality caught up. Seals leaked, panels rattled, storage was awkward, and long-term maintenance became a headache. By the early 2000s, stricter safety rules and better convertible designs pushed T-tops into extinction. The 2002 Camaro marked the end of an era. Feature number 6, vent windows. Those little triangular windows by the side mirrors weren't just styling, they were natural climate control. Crack one open, and airflow was directed straight into the cabin, long before air conditioning was common. Smokers loved them, and on hot days, they made a real difference. Once AC became standard and body designs changed, vent windows quietly disappeared. But if you've ever used one, you know, they worked surprisingly well. Feature number 5, car phones. Before smartphones, having a phone in your car meant you'd officially made it. Car phones were massive, wired directly into the vehicle, and incredibly expensive. The handset usually lived between the seats, with an antenna that screamed executive status. By the early 2000s, portable cell phones made them obsolete. Today, Bluetooth and smartphone integration do the same job, without the brick-sized hardware. Feature number 4, full-size spare tires. Once upon a time, every car came with a real spare tire. Same size, same wheel, no compromises. Modern cars swapped them for skinny donut spares or repair kits to save weight, cost, and trunk space. The trade-off? Limited speed, limited distance, and limited confidence. Full-size spares still survive in SUVs and trucks, but in sedans, they're becoming a rare luxury. Feature number 3, neck seat belts. It sounds unbelievable now, but early seat belts sometimes ran across the neck instead of the shoulder. They offered minimal protection and could cause serious injuries in a crash. Everything changed in 1959 when Volvo introduced the 3-point seat belt, a design so effective it saved millions of lives. Once that standard arrived, neck belts disappeared almost overnight, and good riddance. Feature number 2, metal dashboards. Early dashboards were made of solid steel, no padding, no airbags, and zero forgiveness in a crash. They looked sleek and industrial, but even minor accidents could be devastating. By the 1970s and 80s, safety regulations demanded padded surfaces and eventually airbags. Metal dashboards faded away, replaced by designs focused on survival, not style. Feature number 1, pop-out windshields. At one point, windshields were designed to pop out during a crash, allowing passengers to escape more easily. In theory, it sounded smart. In reality, it was unpredictable and dangerous, sometimes ejecting glass when it shouldn't. Modern laminated windshields, combined with airbags and reinforced frames, made pop-out designs obsolete. Safety finally won over experimentation. So there you have it, 23 car features we lost along the way. Quirky, cool, dangerous, and sometimes genius. And one secret feature is still hiding in plain sight. Catch it in my next video. Hit subscribe and turn on notifications because you do not want to miss it. Thanks for watching.